What's going on, gamers? Welcome to telesplashgaming. If this is your first time visiting, I want to say thanks for popping in. And you know what? I know there's some crazy stuff happening in the world, and if you're from the US, a ton of lockdowns happening, and I just hope that today's video gives you a little bit of normalcy in your life. I joke around a lot, I like to troll a lot of people, but I know that people throughout this country are going through a ton, and people around the world. So with that, as gamers, I love being part of this community. I welcome you to join the retro gaming community. Come hang out with me and the rest of my buddies. I just want to say thanks for joining us, and I want to talk to you about some upcoming games. When it comes to normalcy, what better way than to hang out, play some games with buddies, or just sit and play a great single player experience. Right now, we have the second quarter of 2020 hitting. And along with the coronavirus and all these lockdowns and all these restrictions, there's one thing we can bank on: some great titles coming out. So with that, I want to talk to you guys about some of the huge releases coming out in the second quarter. Stick around, let's get right into it. Alright, so April 3rd, we have a game that we should be applauding Capcom for making, and that's Resident Evil 3. Now, the reason we should be applauding Capcom is because Resident Evil 2 was insane when it came out. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was awesome. It was kind of a different take on the Resident Evil series, but then they said, hey, we're going to redo Resident Evil 2. One of the best games in the franchise. And typically we get these HD remasters, we get maybe a little change in the formula, but it's the same game. Well, they went back to the drawing board and made a completely new game with the storyline behind Resident Evil 2, and it blew up the sales charts. So what better way than to celebrate that with the new one, Resident Evil 3. Again, this game looks incredible. It's not going to be super long, but Resident Evil fans can rejoice. And why I love these remakes is that that gives other developers an opportunity to see the success, like, let's say, Silent Hill? Come on! There are so many great games that I would love to see be remade from that Nintendo 64, PS1 era, when the blocky, jagged edges were they just don't hold up. They looked fantastic then, but now they just don't quite hold up the same. So these remakes are incredible. So Resident Evil 3 drops the beginning of April on pretty much all platforms except the Nintendo Switch. Right after Resident Evil drops, we're getting another remake in Final Fantasy VII. Now, many of you already know, have this pre-ordered, have played the demo, so you kind of have a pulse for what to expect. But if you've been waiting to play Final Fantasy VII and you are a fan of the original, well, this is like a very, very new experience. I mean, that's easy to say. We're talking about multiple console generations later, but it's like the great Final Fantasy VII that you like, but it just feels so much different. And you'd have to play the demo or play the game to really understand that, but this is going to be a huge seller, I have no doubt. The middle of April, we have Hellpoint dropping. Now, this is a sci-fi action RPG on an abandoned space station, or so we thought. With a unique feature involving an actual black hole, your space station revolves around it, it orbits this black hole, and based on the location, it affects your character. It makes people crazier, it gives them more insanity, it gives them more sanity, anxiety, so it really changes everything, even the monsters on the space station. So it's got a really, popular formula with a unique take on it. So this could be a really cool action RPG to take a look at. April might as well be the month of the remakes, because on April 24th, we're getting Trials of Mana. It's a popular franchise that's getting the remastered look, but the thing about this, many fans over here in the US did not get a chance to play this outside of Japan. So if you're not over in Japan, you probably haven't played this game. Well, this is your chance to play in all of its updated, remastered 3D glory. 6 playable main characters, different allies, the story branches. So this is definitely one game that's going to have a ton of replayability. Also on April 24th, you want to skip that RPG crap. You want to go straight for the savage, throat-cutting, exhilarating experience. Well, Predator Hunting Grounds is for you. If you like Friday the 13th, if you like Dead by Daylight, well, this is the formula that's going to fill that void. You are either playing as the Predator or you're playing as the Prey. But the Prey, they're not helpless like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. You are a fire team with a huge arsenal of weapons to take down the Predator. But of course, the Predator's the beast, the most health, the powerful weapons, and I think you can play a few different character classes as well. This looks to be a really fun take on this different gameplay mechanic that's really become popular over the last year or so. So if you want to play a fun new game that has the same vein as Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, Predator Hunting Grounds is going to be the one to do it. Gears of War fans? Final Fantasy Tactics fans? you are in for a treat. Gears Tactics drops the end of April. Now, if you are into that tactical kind of RPG gameplay, then this is probably going to be the game for you. Comprising of the Gears of War allies, villains, heroes, creatures, this is going to be that game that might fill that void since Final Fantasy Tactics left. It looks to be pretty fun, definitely not a game for me, but if you're into this sort of thing, end of April is your window. We're jumping right into May now, and we have a game called Those Who Remain, dropping right in the middle of the month. You play as a troubled man named Edward Turner, and you get to play out all of your childhood nightmares. You are afraid of the dark. Maybe Edward Turner's not afraid of the dark, but in this game you definitely want to stay out of the shadows. All the creatures and monsters are in the shadows, and the light is your ally, and it's your key to survival. You have all these supernatural beings chasing you around, and you definitely want to keep the light close. So with that, this is a supernatural sci-fi thriller. Those Who Remain drops in the middle of May. If you ever want to play as a man-eating bull shark with a voracious appetite and a bad attitude, well then Maneater is for you. Now before you get all into thinking you're just going to start storming beaches, taking people off wave runners, and jumping over boats like Free Willy, you actually start out as a juvenile shark, and it's an RPG. Your mother's killed and you're out for revenge. So with that, you start out more prey than predator, but as you start eating and evolving, you become that gigantic man-eater. It sounds really fun, it could get repetitive, but I'm actually really interested to see how this game plays. The unique strategy-based shooter Synaptic Drive comes out May 28th. Now this is a PC and Switch exclusive, but this has multiple battle arenas, multiple parts, different guns. It's definitely a strategic shooter that looks like it could be a pretty fun online experience if you want to fill that void towards the end of May. We're going to finish May with a banger, and one that is probably my most anticipated game of the year, and that's the PS4 exclusive The Last of Us 2. If you haven't played The Last of Us on the PS3 or the remastered, updated version on the PlayStation 4, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button down below, exit this video, and go play The Last of Us. It is that good. Because when you play that game, you are going to be in the same boat as me, waiting anxiously for the release of this. For the rest of you that played the game, you know what I'm talking about. This may already be a Game of the Year contender on day one. I cannot wait to continue my journey with Joel and Ellie. It looks way more dark and way more gritty than the original, which is saying a ton, because we all know how dark and gritty the first game was. I can't wait for this game. We're starting off June with a unique arcade-style competitive tower defense rock racing game called Rock of Ages Make or Break. Yeah, I don't know, but it looks kind of cool. You basically have this game where you can do 4-player battle royal, tower defense, rock racing. You have different boulders you can choose from for strategies, or you can do 2-on-2 competitive play. It's kind of unique, 6 different game modes, 20 different boulders, and I don't know, if it's just something you want to play kind of a unique game, then this tower defense rock racing game might be the one that get that weird fix for you. Command & Conquer Remastered drops for PC on June 5th. Now, with that being said, if you're a fan of Command & Conquer, you know what kind of RTS game you're getting. But with that being said, you are not going to have brand new, incredibly updated gameplay. It's not a remake, it's a remaster. So those late 90s, early 2000s RTS games, they hold up, but the graphics aren't what you're used to in modern day gaming. But for fans of Red Alert, of the original Command & Conquer, with all the expansions, this is definitely one to pick up. There may not be a million games releasing this quarter, but to close out the month of June, we have another huge AAA release, and that's Ghosts of Tsushima. Now the only thing is it's a PS4 exclusive, but this open world samurai game taking place in feudal Japan circa 1274 looks to be so good. When Sekiro Shadows Die Twice came out and then this got talked about, I thought they were very similar, but it looks to be quite a bit different. This is the Mongol Empire invading your homeland, and you're one of the last survivors of your clan. Using the Way of the Ghost, you must press on and defeat the enemy and defend your country. Wow, that sounds patriotic, but the game looks really, really fun, and this is one that I'll be pre-ordering here in a few days. Maybe even collector's edition. Should I get it? All right, that rounds out the second quarter 2020. I know there's a lot going on in the world today. There's a lot of crazies out there, but gamers are always crazy. So I hope this just feels right at home for you. Let me know in the comments below which game you are looking forward to. Me personally, gotta go with Last of Us, gotta go with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'll probably end up getting Resident Evil 3 because I love that anxiety playing in my basement by myself at night in the dark and just, it's always a fun play. So with that being said, thanks so much. Smash that subscribe button. Always appreciate you coming in, hanging out with the old trollster, and like always, keep trolling, keep rolling. We'll see you next week.